Good morning. Praise the Lord. Welcome once again on God of Wonder TV. My name is Karambu Mwangi. I'm happy once again to be here. And this is our show on parenting or godly parenting. We mean raising a godly generation. We began the topic by first introducing what is godly parenting. We talked about what it entails and why we need to raise a godly generation. And we began by saying that when a society is influenced by the kind of families that we come from, but the society is not the one that influences family. I know this is a statement I've mentioned also when we were doing family therapy, but now today I want us to talk more on godly parenting. So how am I raising my children? The next topic we handled was raising parenting in the 21st century. Yes, of course, things are different. Things are not as they were a few years back, and there is a lot that has changed. We mentioned, that, of course, about the impact of technology on parenting. We talked about culture change. Earlier, the mother would stay at home, raise the children while the father is working. We are now in the 21st century where both mother and father are working and children maybe have to be left at home with caregivers. So these are challenges of the 21st century, or the realities. They are not really challenges, but they are realities of the 21st century. And because we are living in that time, it is important to also understand what are then the challenges that I will face during this season. What are some of the things that I will find myself grappling with as a parent who is raising children at this age? So our topic today is challenges of godly parenting in the 21st century. Challenges of godly parenting in the 21st century. And the first one is technology and screen time. So children are exposed to smartphones, social media, and the internet at a young age. And we are talking about a young age, as young as 1 year. A child is able to scroll and search things in the internet. Now, the question maybe we will be asking ourselves, the way the children are internet savvy, or they are so versed in matters, internet and media, are the parents equally equipped? So sometimes we find ourselves as parents not being as informed as the children are, and therefore we really don't know what is happening. Let's maybe talk about the younger ones, the very toddlers. If children are exposed to too much screen time, more than 3 hours in a day, it is going to lower their development in terms of cognition. It will affect their playtime, developmental stages like being able to walk, run, climb. Those are things that are going to be affected because most of the time that child is taking seated watching. The other thing that is highly affected, of course, is speech. Remember, they are used to listening to images speaking, and most of the times it is cartoon. That is not the ordinary talk that they see in humans. So therefore their speech is altered. They are not able to develop speech very fast. The other challenge, of course, is obesity. Remember, a child that from around 1 year to 2, 3 years, they're supposed to be very active, playing and exploring. And therefore, because they are seated for a long time, and the most likely thing is as they are seated, we are also giving them snacks to eat. So they tend even to eat more as long as they are seated watching. So these are challenges that we face as parents during this age, and many others. We are talking about, of course, children even being exposed to wrong content because maybe the person who is supervising what they are watching is not able to know exactly what they are watching at that time, or maybe the caregiver who is present can also decide to put content that is not age appropriate, and the child is left there to consume. So technology and screen time, it is such a challenge in the 21st century, and it has affected a lot. We've seen teenagers, by the time a child is getting to teenage, they're either maybe addicted to phones, they're addicted to games, they may be addicted even to pornography, masturbation, and these are things that they have been exposed to because they began this screen time early. So, of course, how do we make sure then our children are safe? One, awareness. Let's be screen technology aware. Make sure you know what is this that your child is watching. We have ways of being able to monitor or even limit what they are able to watch. We have gadgets now that can be able to limit screen time, where you can limit how many hours the child will be on screen. It just goes off screen. We can be able to get those services from, of course, people who know how to do that. The next one is, of course, being able to make sure that playtime is not taken by the screen. Because when that happens, then our children will not develop the way they ought to, and they will be affected developmentally and especially cognitively. They will be affected in how they develop. And if they also use too much time on the screen, they will become addicted, or they can also be bullied. There's a lot of cyberbullying that is happening online. I know many of us, especially children from the age of around 8, 9, we've given them phones, and some have already opened social media accounts. Our children are receiving a lot of cyberbullying and a situation where also they are relating with so much content that is not real, and therefore they want to compare themselves with what they see every time on the screen, yet that most of the things that are on the screen are not real. And because the child does not have the awareness or the knowledge to know that what they are seeing, all of it is not as real as it looks, they will think that everything that is there is real time. The other part, of course, is cultural and moral shift. So society often promotes values contrary to biblical teachings, e.g. materialism, self-centeredness. There are other things, of course, like how homosexuality has been pushed into our society. And these are things that our children are being exposed to in the 21st century. Things have changed. The way we would value culture and cultural practices and values, and even value godly values, it is not as it was years back. So it is our responsibility, definitely as parents, to make sure that then the biblical values are the ones that are taught more, and make sure by the time a child is turning 12, they are so grounded in their biblical foundation that it will be very easy for them to then sieve the information that they receive outside in the world. But one of the challenges that also we are facing in this age is, of course, people are busy, and therefore sometimes parents don't have time to be able to teach the children maybe as they ought to. Sorry. And therefore the children are exposed in a space where it is the world that is influencing them more than they are influenced by the family, or especially the godly principles. All these things will cause peer pressure, the desire to want to be like everyone else, the desire to copy the world, the desire to conform to what they see everybody doing. We are living in a time where party life is highly pushed on our children. And every child, every teenager, every youth, young adult wants to copy that lifestyle. But is it the right one? Look at how many deaths that are happening today. Every other time in the media, we'll hear a young person was killed, maybe while coming out of a party at night. Maybe a young person was killed by a lover. These are things we keep hearing. And sometimes our children get to these spaces out of peer pressure. And the peer pressure is coming because of the shift of culture, where we are living more of a valueless society. We are becoming a more valueless society than we ought to become. And then, of course, we find ourselves again, the children who find themselves being influenced by the media to go astray. Maybe the kind of music that they are listening to, the kind of videos that they are watching, how is it influencing or how is it changing their lifestyle? So when we are not able to understand, or when we are not able to know who we are, when we are not able to work on godly principles and godly values, our children will find themselves being carried away by the waves of what is happening all over and wanting to be like whatever is happening around. The third challenge is a busy lifestyle. Parents and children often have packed schedules, leaving little time for family bonding or spiritual growth. So because of the busy lifestyle that we are in the 21st century, parenting has to be very intentional. I have to be intentional. I have to set time. And I think every time I talk about parenting, I want to always say that parenting is not babysitting. Parenting is not babysitting. Babysitting means I am seated there with the child 24 hours. That is not what I mean. We can be as busy as we are. We can do our chores and work that we do. We can be out there. But we have then to make sure that we have time set apart to be able to take care of the parenting aspect, influencing, family bonding, making sure that the family values are also being instilled in the midst of the busy life. Let me give a scenario where a parent leaves the house at, let's say, 4 a.m. And the child will also be leaving at around 6 a.m. And this parent comes back home around 9:30. And the child came back maybe around 4, 5. But between 5 and 9, the child maybe is only with the caregiver. And remember, they left 6 in the morning. The parent left before them. The child came before the parent, but the parent came later on. It means a whole week, maybe a whole week, the child will not have seen the parent. There is maybe bullying that happened in school, or maybe they suffered some emotional breakdown in school, or something happened wrong. When the child comes home, they may not have someone to share with, or even if they have, it is now the caregiver, and the caregiver may not be as willing to follow it up because they are busy, they are doing other things, all the chores at home are left to them. So when I say with our busy lifestyle, we just have to be intentional. It is to make sure that then we can create time. What is this time that we create to make sure that we are with the children, at least be able to check on how was their day, how are they faring? What are some of the challenges did they face in school? And therefore then we can be able to intervene. And of course also being able to work on their spiritual growth and not just leaving it to the church leaders and the Sunday school teachers in church to teach them. Because if we have to impact godliness, that has to always begin from home. It is easier for a child to copy a parent godly lifestyle than they would copy a Sunday school teacher, because a parent has more authority than anyone else in the life of a child. So how being overcommitted can lead to stress and neglect of faith practices. So sometimes when we are too busy, we can neglect the most important things, or maybe become very stressed. So by the time maybe you're coming home and maybe you even arrived early, but you're so tired to even want to do anything else. And I am teaching this knowing very well the state we are in right now as a people. But because work is happening, life is happening, but there are children also here that we are raising, and we have to be intentional in terms of how we parent them. The fourth one is, of course, the parenting trends. That modern parenting styles may prioritize child autonomy over discipline, or fail to set clear boundaries. So sometimes I feel like we parent according to either need, we parent according to deficiency, we parent according to maybe the pain we went through as children. So those three things might determine my style of parenting. So when I'm saying parenting that prioritizes child autonomy over discipline, a parent who suffered a lot of punishment, not really discipline from their parent, may not want to punish their children, and therefore then not discipline them. And it means then this child will not have values instilled in them or discipline instilled, because this parent is trying to run away from what was done on them. So they don't want to do the same things that were done on them. Another challenge, of course, that we have seen in our time or in the 21st century is where we have come from very poor backgrounds. And now because we have gotten resources, or we feel like we have enough money, so we want to give our children everything we didn't get. And in the process, of course, we alter normal development of a child, that we will not allow them to work, we not even train them on being responsible. Everything they ask, they are given. And now when this child is supposed to be responsible adult, they don't know how to be a responsible adult because it was not trained, it was not instilled in them when they were growing up. The other one, of course, is failure to set clear boundaries. So you can listen to a parent and a child, and you cannot be able to tell who is the authority here. When we don't allow ourselves as parents to be an authority in the life of a child, we are simply making the child not to honor any authority in the future. They will not honor parents, teachers in school. They will not honor the government. They will not honor anyone, because they didn't get, this was not nurtured in them from when they were young. So there must be a balance. As much as we are not saying bring back all the kind of parenting that we received from our parents, we need to also balance and make sure that we are raising responsible children, we are raising law-abiding citizens, we are raising people that can be able to manage their life without us, making sure that if peradventure I'm not there, how will that child manage their life? So conflicting advice from experts can make it difficult to know what's best. So we have so many experts on parenting out here, and everybody feels like they are the experts. So also we need to be sure what advice am I going to take? And there is no better advice than godly advice. So if the advice that is being given in terms of parenting does not align to biblical principles, or that does not align to biblical values, then I will not follow it regardless of who it is that is giving that advice. Then the other thing, of course, is lack of community support. In the old times, people used to grow up together in an extended family. The uncles, the aunties, the grandparents, everyone is here together with the children. And even if maybe the mother is not present to raise the children, maybe they're being raised by an auntie, a grandmother, or someone who is close to them. So today, most of us are raising children in outside, of course, or in towns where these extended families are not there. So what happens is that sometimes the children will be raised alone. If it's a case of a single parent, the child will find themselves maybe all by themselves. They don't even have someone to play with. They don't have someone to be able to guide them because maybe the only parent who is present is not available. So and then again also because of the busyness of life, we are not even in a church setup where we have created a community where the child can make this a community where they can get fellowship, mentorship, and they can be able to grow in that environment. So these are challenges that will face us, any parent in the 21st century. Parents may feel isolated in their effort to raise godly children. But of course, if we are in a church community, if we are in a community where people, a community of believers, we can be able to encourage each other. So 5 challenges that I've mentioned. We've talked about technology and screen time. We've talked about cultural and moral shifts. We've talked of a busy lifestyle. Everyone is busy doing everything else. Parenting trends. We've talked about lack of community support. So there are some practical guides to godly parenting there, maybe close to what we are talking about, the challenges of the 21st century, and we are quoting Deuteronomy chapter 6 from verse 6 to 7. It says, "Teach God's commandments diligently to your children, talking about them at home, on the road, and throughout the day." If you go deeper to that verse, the children of Israel were being told that the commandments that I have given to you, you are the one who is meant to pass them on to your children so that your children can be diligent enough to pass it to the next generation. I will say that lack of godliness in a generation is not a problem of the children, but a problem of the parent that raised that generation. I know in our time today, many of us want to say it is the children of today who are wayward. But the truth is that the problem is not the child. The problem is parenting. It's a problem of parenting. And every time I make this statement, these questions come. What if I have done everything? Sometimes I ask, what is everything? And when did you start doing the everything? We neglect the early years of our children, especially between 1 year and 5 years. Between 1 and 5 years is the years when we are supposed to instill values. I said 1 year to 5. That is when we are supposed to instill values. And even if it is matters, discipline, and the child looking at you as an authority, as a person that is guiding them, this is when the child is supposed to get that information from you. What we do, those years, we over-pamper children. We will love on them, we will call them nice petty names, and we will do all manner of things. And it is this age when we call them mom and dad and all those names that we give them. Now, When they are out from around 9 years, 10, getting to teenage now, 11, that is when we want to start instilling values. Those ones can't work because the foundation is shaky. We did not do what we were supposed to have done earlier. So by the time they are reaching teenage, they have already formed their own values outside of your own because you did not instill them on them early. So when we talk about prayer, study of the word, those are things we are supposed to instill from 1 year to 5 years. Let them pray incoherent prayers. Let them study the Bible and understand God in their own way. Instill it when they are young. It is very easy even now to begin and to build up from that foundation rather than beginning it when they are a little bit older. The other thing I see a lot of us do is we don't discipline at all. And here I mean like maybe spanking or correcting at all. In the younger years, that is before 10. And now when they are 10 and above, that is when we want to start beating them. What the child does at that point, they look at you as if you have hated them. And therefore, then they will not take this as discipline, but they will take it as disrespect or not being loved by the parent. So some of the challenges or the challenges that we face in parenting, it is at what point do we begin instilling discipline? It is from the beginning. Proverbs chapter 22 verse 6 says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So we are talking about training a child, not training a teenager. A teenager is not called, yes, of course, they're in the age of children, but it will not be called a child. So it means then the training begins a little bit earlier. So are we training our children? Ephesians chapter 6 verse 4 talks about fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in discipline and instruction of the Lord. Now, because we have not instilled discipline in our children when they are younger, we try instilling discipline when they become older, and therefore we become very frustrated when they don't obey us, and we start using very negative words, or sometimes even insultive words on them. And that is what the Bible calls provoking. So the child feels like you're already disrespecting them, rather than looking at them as human beings, normal human beings. And of course, one of the responses, especially teenagers will do, is they will act out. Some of the things young people do, or teenagers, they are doing them to provoke the parent who provoked them. I don't know whether that makes sense. They are reacting to the reaction of, if you hurt them, they will do that something also to make sure they have hurt you. Because that is the stage they are in. The next one, of course, is being able to model Christ-centered life. Remember, we are raising a godly generation. Can they see us as godly? Can they be able to see godliness in them, in us? When our children see us maybe bribe police on the road, when they see us get tenders fraudulently, when they see us buying for them positions for jobs, or even schools or universities, when they see us do that and we are calling ourselves godly, will they also be godly? No. They will copy exactly what they saw us do. Again, prioritize family worship and prayer. That's what I said, that we set aside time. Make sure we set aside time that we can be able to interact with the Word of God together with the children. Set boundaries with technology. Make sure that, of course, there is timing that technology has to be used. And this one, we have to be intentional. And gadgets should not be used as babysitter tools. I know this is done a lot, especially by our caregivers that we leave our children with. But when a child is exposed to those gadgets for a long time, we will interfere with their developmental stages, and it will be a whole struggle just for them being able to do that which they need to do. Teach biblical values in a secular world. Remember, the Bible is very clear. It says that we are in this world, but we are not of this world. So enable the child to also understand the world we live in. Don't make them be naive to the world that we live in, because when they find themselves now in that world, they will not know how to navigate. So educate and enable the child to understand the world and the evils that are in the world, not by accusing them or reprimanding them, but by teaching and guiding them through godly principles. I remember I was talking to a young girl, I think she should be like 18, and she's telling me the way we are taught about drugs, we are told, don't take drugs and you're going to be mad, and don't take this, you're supposed to. Now, when we become too, the how we teach might make our children not receive the information. Paint a picture of the world, but make sure also you're painting a picture of godliness. That yes, we are in this world, but God has given us divine enablement to be able to overcome all those challenges that come with being in the world, but not when now we condemn and accuse our children of things they have not done. Foster an open communication. Open communication with children begins when they are young. Children talk a lot from the age of 1 all the way to around 10. From around 10, they slow down. If we did not listen to them when they were younger, we will not capture them when they are older. I said, if we will not listen to them, you know those times when they're asking endless questions? Why is this one here? Why is it not supposed to be like this? If we keep dismissing them every other time they come to us, when we lead them to talk to us as adults, they will not talk to us. And that's why many young people get into so much trouble, yet they cannot mention it to parents, because they don't have a communication. The communication lines are not open. The only time sometimes that parent talks to a child is when maybe they're reprimanding them or giving them direction or rules. Keep an open communication. Discipline with love and consistency. Of course, make sure that, yes, it is a punishment, but I am doing it with love. I am not doing it like I hate you. Make sure it is a correction. Maybe when I am at this, I can give an example of a word my late father would use. Every time he used to beat us, he used to tell us he's taking out small demons, that we have small demons that are making us do bad things, and they're the ones he's beating out of us. And somehow, even if, however hard you're beaten, you couldn't feel like you were beaten. You always felt like there are those things, those two demons that you were saying, they're the ones that were being beaten out. So explain, talk, give it the reason as to why. Encourage community and fellowship. Of course, that one we mentioned. Balance, structure, and grace. We talked about understanding your parenting style. Then pray for your children. So how can I be able to navigate through the many challenges that will come? Of course, if I see my child is dealing with peer pressure, have a conversation. Educate yourself on social media and technology. Balance on the issue of schedule and being busy. Many of us are very busy during the week, but still we also sometimes we overcrowd our weekends when we are supposed to be having time with our children, that is when we put all the chamas, and almost the whole day again I'm not home, and the whole week I was not home. So at least when the children are younger, it is important to prioritize those times. Help your children also to share and extend grace to those who do not have. So basically, that is what I would want us to discuss about the challenges of parenting in the 21st century. But I know, even as maybe I was sharing, there are areas you would touch, and clearly you can tell, I am struggling in this. Please don't do it alone. Seek help. Seek support, because we are raising responsible adults. We are raising the leaders of tomorrow. We are raising the doctors of tomorrow, the nurses, the people who are going to serve society in the next generation. So what kind of servants will they be? It is those children. And if you are struggling in any way as a parent, the best thing you can do for your children is to be able to equip yourself and look for help, so that by the time the child is coming in, the child will be able to be equipped and aligned to to go through life in accordance to a way they are going to come out as responsible people that are going also to take care of society in a better way. So thank you so much, and thank you for being a part of God of Wonder TV. Kindly share our videos, share these teachings with your friends, and I know it is going to be of great help to many families and parents.